Darksiders 3 review. Let's make one thing clear before we start with rating Darksiders 3. Darksiders 3 has changed a lot comparing to Darksiders 1 and 2. Notable changes are next. There is no horse, even though you're a horseman, woman, whatever. There are no item drops. There are very few puzzles in the game, which is a good thing, by the way, in my opinion. I always hated time wasting puzzles in Darksiders 1 and 2. You cannot fight like in previous Darksiders, you'll die in this one if you take that approach. At least on hardest difficulty, you'll die a lot. Leveling and all those mini options around it are tuned down and simplified. There are less bosses, map doesn't exist. Only one basic armor is available throughout the game. With all of that said and done, you feel like this game is a disaster. But it's not actually. Darksiders 3 is a Souls-like game. Now with backtracking elements from Metroidvania genre, they added that. So you need to compare Darksiders 3 with Dark Souls this time. Forget about Darksiders 1 and 2. Only the story is there now. Speaking about the story, first section is the story. You control third horseman of Apocalypse, Fury. She's not nimble as Death, not strong as War, but she's crazier than both of them, as her name applies. You are sent to Apocalyptic Earth by Charred Council to capture the 7 deadly sins. I don't want to spoil anything else. From time to time, the story pace seems out of place and awkward. Sometimes it's good. And the best thing is the finish and how this game ends. 7 out of 10 for story only cause I like the last hour of the game. It was brilliant. Game bugs and optimization is the next section. I don't know if game is fixed now, but when I played it on the first day of the release, it wasn't the most pleasant experience. Few bugs and glitches here and there. Yeah, it happened. Well, few bugs, a lot of glitches, but nothing game breaking. Optimization was out of place. Frames were up and down all over the place, depending on the area you're currently in. Stuttering was also an issue, but at least loading times were fast on SSD. 5 out of 10 for game bugs and optimization. Maybe, just maybe, it's in a better state now. Game time is the next section. You can finish this game in 15 to 30 hours. Depends if you want to explore everything there is, and of course it mostly depends on the difficulty you're playing with. Replay value is low, very low. All I see for replay value is speedrunning the bosses. So if you are into speedrunning, then game time is probably 8 or 9 out of 10 for you. But for me personally, for this section, game time will get 6 out of 10. Next section is game difficulty. A lot of different difficulties to choose from. Pick highest difficulty and you'll have your Dark Souls gameplay. Pick easiest difficulty and you'll have something close to Darksiders 1 and 2. The problem here is the amount of enemies. They will remain in low numbers and you will get bored when it's easy. You'll die on hardest difficulty though, and that's a good thing. I feel like I would die way much less if the game was optimized. Way too many times I died because of the camera angles or pure stuttering and lags, glitches and similar shit. AI is not that smart, but it's okay I guess. 6 out of 10 for game difficulty section. Maps and graphics is the next section. This is probably the best part in Darksiders. Very colorful and fun maps, tons of different environments even though it's a short game. World of Darksiders 3 is very well interconnected and you'll always open shortcuts and find new fun things to do. Graphics are a bit outdated, but still, somehow, this game finds the way to actually be system demanding. 8 out of 10 for this section. Gameplay. This is where Darksiders 3 has most in common with Dark Souls. Positioning in fights is important. Bursting enemies quickly, hence reducing their numbers, is also important. Fury cannot block, that means only dodge is available. Once you get a perfect dodge, you'll be able to counterattack and deal a lot of damage. Most of the time, you'll fight, reach one of the deadly scenes, and once you're done with boss fights, new shortcut will be open for easier access and backtracking to previous areas. It does everything weaker than Dark Souls, but it's a very good copycat of Soul series. In other words, this is simplified and dumbed down version of Souls gameplay. Gameplay will get 7 out of 10. NPCs and enemies for the next section. Valgrim is here at least, again, and that's a good thing. You'll get to see death, war, and strife. Hints about Abaddon are in this game too. Fury's personal watcher is also included in the game. She'll communicate quite often with Fury, with cheesy but also a bit funny dialogues between them. Fewer enemies than in previous Darksider titles, but they're done well. Unraged enemies also have their versions in the game, and they usually leave some good upgrade parts for you. Bosses are also fewer than in previous Darksiders, but they might be the best bosses in Darksiders franchise. There's a lot of detail on bosses, and most of them have 2 to 3 different phases. 8 out of 10 for this section. It was very well done. Leveling and itemization is the next section. I said already that this game is simplified and dumbed down version of Soul series. Well, you get souls by killing enemies or looting corpses. Then you spend those souls to Valgrim, buying XP or consumables. Once you acquire ability points, you'll be able to invest them into bigger health pool, more damage, or more damage while counterattacking. Smith will upgrade your weapons when you acquire shards scattered throughout the world. You can upgrade your primary whip weapon or secondary weapons. Speaking about secondary weapons, there are only 5 in the game, and you'll basically change them when you switch Fury's hair colors. Changing hair colors will also give you different abilities, so you can pass obstacles like jump higher, glide after jump, break walls, and similar shit. Think of it as Metroidvania skills, so you can backtrack previous areas. Oh yeah, Fury has also 2 forms. When she gets stronger for a short amount of time, and that's about it. Consumables are completely useless, and you can forget about them. That's about it. There's not else left. As I said, leveling and itemization is quite simple. 8 out of 10 because of a cool way to present skills from Fury's hair colors. I like that idea a lot. Last section is music and sound. Great voice acting, very good music, cool sound effects. Fury's voice acting and her watcher's voice acting really adds to immersion in the game as in the story overall. 9 out of 10 for music and sound. Voice acting is really good. At the end we got conclusion. We got 64 points in 9 sections, and that would be 7.1 out of 10 for Darksiders 3. The game is nothing special and it's worth buying once it's on sale. You shouldn't spend more than 20 bucks though. Have that in mind. I really feel like I had more fun with Darksiders 1 and 2 than with Darksiders 3. That will be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.